in China at the end of the 18th and beginning of the 19th century. The Qing dynasty, in power since the eviction of the Ming, has reigned in prosperity for a century and has successfully asserted itself as a world trader. In Europe, the French Revolution has said farewell to its monarchy, and the old continent will, within a few decades, be transformed forever by the Industrial Revolution. All these are highlights from the colonial period. In the Middle Kingdom, exports of tea, porcelain and silk are balanced by imports of opium-generating armed conflicts between all the countries involved. In August 1860, at the end of the Second Opium War, a Franco-British coalition army pillages and sets light to the Summer Palace.
The Summer Palace, located in Beijing, is a beautiful tourist site that consists of famous gardens and buildings such as the Tower of Fragrance of Buddha, the Tower of the Revolving Archive, Wu Fang Pavilion, the Baoyang Bronze Pavilion, and the Hall that Dispels the Clouds. It was created by Qian Long between the years 1750 and 1764. The palace held many riches. The Chinese Cultural Relics Association estimates that over 10 million relics were traveled overseas from 1840 to 1949. In 1860, during the Opium War, there was a lot of tension between China and Europe, specifically Britain and France. The Chinese were fed up with the British and the French, so they attempted to restrict their activities in China. While in China, the British and French discovered the Summer Palace, along with all of the riches it contained. So starting on October 6, 1860, they began stealing anything they could find in the palace. Fed up, the Chinese eventually started taking British soldiers hostage. After taking 20 soldiers hostage, Lord Elgin, leader of the British forces in China, resulted in ordering the Summer Palace to be burned. Because the palace was burned, the Chinese eventually gave in to Western demands. This type of conflict happened often due to the Opium War and the Europeans trying to take control of East Asia. Eventually, though, the Chinese and Japanese gave in to Western influence. Antiques continue to be found from the burning of 1860, even 150 years later. Most findings are being auctioned off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. For example, an 18th century Qianlong period yellow jade pendant sold for 478,000 euros. Also, the heads of a rat and a rabbit, some of the most famous findings from the Summer Palace, auctioned off for millions. The CCRA believes that about 1.5 million antiques have been spread across more than 2,000 museums in 47 different countries. The history of the Summer Palace is still influencing and admired to this day.